Okay folks, back in my workshop. Rick Hessick here with Neil, although Neil's not with me today. The snowstorm has him trapped in Somerville in his jammies, I'm sure, but we're a little bit late. We're well into this project and late getting any kind of documentation or video of it, but it's basically a shoe rack. This is Neil's sketch, and it's an open frame with a solid top type of piece of furniture that has two shelves, a lower and a middle shelf behind doors, and a third bay with a drawer and an open shelf, basically for storing shoes and boots. It'll also double as a general storage bench or piece, and it has a solid top, so it will serve also as a seat. It'll be a nice little bench to sit on, and I'm going to go through that now. Like I said, we're well into the project. What you see here is just staged with some spring clamps, the front, back, and two side frame pieces. There's two doors, and I'm not sure if Neil's going to want them on the center and right, but there'll be a third bay here, or on the other end, maybe the middle, with a drawer and an open shelf for additional shoe storage. The drawer will be for gloves and other things like that, extra socks, I guess, but whatever. And the ends will be closed in with a panel. As you can see, they're open right now. We'll close them in. The shelves will sit one down at this level, will come across, and one at this level for high and low tops. And this project is constructed of hard maple, otherwise known as rock maple. It's a beautiful wood, and it's beautiful to work with. Very available. It's domestic, and certainly domestic to the Northeast. We lucked out in getting some decent pieces, nice and straight, and straight grain. Maple doesn't like to grow very straight, so a lot of times you'll find a piece, a board on the shelf that has a lot of residual stresses in it, and once you start to cut it, it twists into unrecognizable shapes. So I'm going to pause the video here and put the top on, and you'll see what it's going to look like in the end. Okay, we're back. This top, again, is constructed of solid maple, hard maple. There's three boards glued together with a lock board on each end, and I did a secondary sanding on it, and it's really, really gorgeous. This is a beautiful piece of furniture, and the top is nice. Neil constructed this himself with my guidance, obviously, and my tools, but he was interested enough to do that and has done a great job. Neil has done every operation required to build this piece, and it's really cool. I'm proud of him. This is the second piece that he's designed and built himself. The material selection, the hard maple, was his decision. It's a nice light colored wood, and it's going to stay that way. I believe he's going to want to stain it, but it's going to stay on the lighter side, not a very dark piece. And as I said earlier, we are a little delinquent in getting any kind of video or documentation for this ready, but here we are, and I will follow up with some more photos and videos and how we progress with this. Okay, we'll see you soon. This is going to double as a seat. It's a storage bench and a seat, and it'll be able to fit 3 people across that seat. So there has to be some structural integrity to the base of the frame, and we didn't want, this is as designed. Neil sketched this out. He knew what he wanted, and the frame is fairly lightweight, and it'll be strong enough, certainly strong enough to support 3 people sitting across the top surface. Alright, so I'll get some more video as we progress through this. We're gonna we got some more sanding to do, we got some finish to do. We're gonna put a little decorative bead around the top, the seat, and so this is the drawer for Neil's shoe rack. It's 8 inches tall, roughly 14 inches by 14 inches. Nice deep drawer. Put a lot of stuff in there, wool socks or whatever he has planned. These slots that run down both sides, left and right, are for the rails that will be mounted in the shoe rack frame. The drawer will run on those rails, all wood. I'm also going to take, it's a solid piece of maple for the front. I'm going to soften the edge, this edge, all the way around the inside, probably the outside too, just because maple's very hard and it's a sharp edge. It'll, if you bump into it accidentally, it'll cause some damage. So this little feature here is the pull. You reach underneath the drawer with your fingertips and grab it there. Demonstrate that. Be able to get your fingers under the drawer at the frame and be able to just pull it out like that, so there's no visible hardware on the outside. That's what Neil wanted. Good idea. Okay, good morning folks. Rick Hessick here, back in my basement, extended from the shop. This is continuing the project for Neil's shoe rack storage slash bench we're building. We have a coat of stain on, colonial maple, Minwax colonial maple. One coat, let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes, then wiped it off. Beautiful color. There's 2 coats of sealer so far, a semi-gloss or a satin rather sealer on the entire part, the entire piece of furniture. The shelves, the 2 shelves, the seat or the top, the drawer front and the door fronts will get a 3rd coat, and it's a high quality sealer, so I think that will be sufficient. And we made a slight change. It's a shot of the back looking into the morning sun. Move down here. We made a slight change in the design from what I showed in previous videos of the door. Rail style panel type door design. We got away from that. We thought about how that would contrast with the solid drawer front, and we decided to go with a solid door. So that's solid rock maple door, and both doors will be constructed like that, so it'll be consistent with the drawer front. When you look at the front of the storage bench or the shoe rack. Same color. That'll get a 3rd coat of urethane. And something else I wanted to point out was Neil didn't want any visible hardware. No drawer pulls, no door pulls. So we dug up these Southco push to open latch. This mounts inside the storage bench, and this part mounts in the piece of furniture, in the frame, and this little front mounts to the door. There it is. Trying to do this with 2 hands. So this little part, self-adhesive, pressure sensitive adhesive front, sticks to the door. That mounts to a bracket that I made here, solid brass bracket that will mount inside the frame. This part snaps into that rectangular opening, and when you close the door, I have this right, flip it up, close the door, stays closed. So push to open latches. The drawer won't need a latch. It doesn't have any visible pulls or knobs or anything. What it does have is this undercut. This is the drawer front, and it's got this little channel cut in, and you reach underneath and grab that with your hand like that and pull the drawer open. This big drawer. So no visible hardware. The only metal hardware will be the screws to attach these brackets, 2 screws, plus the door hinges and screws. And I think it would be practical to make those out of wood. So that's where we are. That third coat of sealer will be going on in about 10 minutes after I finish this episode, this part of the video. And you'll see it when it's finished. Neil's shoe rack / storage / seat. Great piece. Fit nice in a mud room. He's going to have it in his bedroom, which it'll go great right there too. So till next time, we'll see you soon.